Alright, I think we are live now. Sorry about that. Alright, let me know if we're good. I think we're good now. It just wasn't... Alright, let me know if you guys can hear me. Yeah, so the reason I restarted the stream was because I accidentally reused the title from like a previous live stream. Like I just reused the settings. And sorry if I'm blurry. Am I blurry? Anyways, the reason was because okay, because I keep seeing people saying, some people say they can hear me, some people say they can't. But the reason I restart the stream was because I accidentally reused the title from the last stream, and then obviously it was not good because it was the title about blasting past 12K, and then obviously we're below 12K, so I did not want to mislead people there. All right, well, let me know if you guys have any questions. Some people have requested like music, so I'll try to put something on. I don't know how well it'll work, but we will try it. And see how it goes. Alright guys, so yeah, the markets are falling a little bit, and right, I mean business as usual more or less. I guess it's still somewhat of a clickbait title just because it's not really falling that much. Like we're still at 11.4. But I did want to just talk about the markets. We don't only want to talk about them when they go up, right? We want to talk about them when they go down too. Bob says, I expected classical music. I was actually going to do classical music, but then I figured people would not like that. So I just found something else to stream. Anyways, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, right, is the current move down. So I mean, you know, Bitcoin was as high as 12.5, and now it's as low as 11.3, 11.4. So the thing I wanted to to highlight here, right, is the fact that we could be, right, we don't know yet, we could be in another, let's call it another accumulation phase, right? And maybe it goes down as low as 10.5 down here. Maybe it goes as high as, let's just take it to the candles here, around 12.3. I think that 10.5 is kind of low. That's just where the candle is. But if we were to take it to say up to this region where we have these bodies of the candle, it's possible, right, that we're in another accumulation phase, like another re-accumulation phase, hopefully, right, before heading back up. Now, sorry, the music's kind of loud, actually. Now, one of the things, right, is if you compare it, right, to the last time we were doing something like this, it seems like it's somewhat similar, right? You see the move up, and then it moves sideways. By the way, if the music's too distracting. Yeah, let me turn it off. It's actually distracting me too. All right, so It's similar. It's similar to the last time, right? It seems like, okay, we moved up, we came back down, we kind of went sideways for a long period of time before moving back up. And if you take a measured move, right, from when we first got into this accumulation phase over here, let's say it started around this region, extended out, and then let's take this other region too and extend it out. You know, it lasted, right, for quite a long period of time. I mean, starting April 29th all the way out till, you know, the end of July. So it was almost about 3 months, right, of accumulation. And then we then systematically moved up to kind of like our next level, right? And so the question now is, are we going to say reaccumulate? Like, are we going to reaccumulate within this range? If you just draw it based on the candles and not the wicks, it's more or less between around 10.9 up to 12.3. One of the things I thought was interesting, and you know, I don't really think these patterns are that important, but I just kind of like spotting patterns sometimes, you know, and kind of seeing a small one here, right? You kind of see the move up. Let me use a different color. So you kind of see the move up here, right? And then it comes down back to the bottom, back up to basically where it was before, back down to the bottom, back up to higher than it was before, and then it starts to come down. And then you can kind of draw that over here, right? You see a similar type pattern. You see it kind of come up from the bottom up to the top, back down to the bottom, back up to the top, which is where I basically was, and then it moves sideways like it did last time, back to the bottom-ish, back to the top, but this move to the top was higher than the first two, right? So you see, like, let's call this, like, you know, the first one there. It's kind of hard to draw with a brush, but the first one, maybe the second one, maybe the third one, and then kind of something similar over here, maybe 1, 2, 3. And noticing that 1 and 2 are essentially basically on par with each other, and then 3 is a little bit higher. And then after 3 coming back down, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't know if this is going to repeat or not, but I do think that even in a bull market, as we have said, right, many times, you're going to, you're going to have these accumulation phases, and they can last a long period of time. And it's kind of when the market can get rather boring, right? The number of people looking at the market, people generally interested in crypto, the interest would die down, right? If we move sideways for a long period of time. So for instance, so far we've already moved sideways for about 26 days. And if you look back over here, you know, we were moving sideways at 26 days. We were only at this point, right? We were only right here. So we still had, you know, about another 3x, right? So we had another two of these left to go before we broke out. And this is what I just want to warn people about, right? I mean, I can't tell you if this is going to play out as long or not, but you have to be prepared for the fact that the market can get really boring. And I know many of you are looking at it thinking, okay, well, the market's not boring now, right? It's still at 11.4, and we were just at 12K, so the market is exciting, right? The market's moving, it's exciting. But I just want to draw the attention, right? We tried to identify this accumulation phase early on, saying, okay, it could be a reaccumulation phase, not necessarily a distribution phase, which is what I think a lot of people thought, a distribution phase to then come back down. It could be a reaccumulation phase. And maybe right now we're in another reaccumulation phase, right, that is just starting at this level. And if you go back, right, to the last cycle, we had these accumulation phases, you know? I mean, they lasted a long period of time, right? I mean, we had these blow-off moves, and then it just got boring for a while. I mean, this one lasted half a year. And then we had another one over here that lasted, you know, a decent amount of time. It doesn't look like they're that long when you measure it over the macro scale, but even these were, you know, they were 90 days or so where the price wasn't really moving a whole lot, right? It was basically between 560 and 640, or even, you know, so I guess there was a wick down, but for the most part, it was between, like, you know, a very small range over the course of 3 months. So we expect that we're going to see that during this cycle even more so, right? Why? Well, lengthening cycles. I think that lengthening cycles are a thing, and I think someone said Benjamin Boring Cowan. I'm not sure if I should, if you're just making note of the markets or if you're making note of me, but I'll choose to take it as a compliment because I don't want to come off as like as someone like, you know, trying to say something that's not happening, right? I just want to communicate with you the markets. But you know, when you think about it, right? If we are again in a lengthening cycle, then we're probably going to experience many of these, like, you know, reaccumulation phases, right? These times where the market, it goes up, it kind of comes back down a little, but then we just accumulate for a while. We move sideways. Yes, I am looking at the comments. So it's going to take more, right? It's going to take more this cycle to move the price of Bitcoin, right? I mean, you're going to see other coins like, you know, move up more, like Ethereum. Ethereum will likely move up quicker than Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, right? I think that we're going to have these accumulation phases that are going to last a really long period of time, and the market's going to get boring. But the money, the smart money, right, is going to continue moving into the market if it suits your risk level, and other money will leave the market and wait for it to move up again, right? The money that chases these moves, right? Not the money that accumulates in this region, but it's the money that chases, right? The dumb money that kind of pumps into the market, then gets scared when it goes back down. So, you know, one of the things we've spoken about too a lot, right, is the 20-week moving average. So let's switch over to a weekly time frame. So we've spoken about the 20-week, right? And we note that it's currently at 9,400, 9,417 according to this, which is Bitstamp, but approximately 9,417. And if we were to come down to this again would be our bull market support, as we've shown in prior videos, where you can see it typically holds support during the bull market. So for the bull market to kind of stay on, right, for it to build, you know, to still be a possibility for people to still move into, or, you know, like for people to be bullish on the market, for people to be confident about other coins like Ethereum and altcoins and whatnot, I think that the 20-week, right, has to hold. And the 20-week right now is a 94.17. But, you know, imagine that we come down to this support and maybe it doesn't hold at support. I mean, obviously one scenario is we oscillate in this range for a while. But what if, right? I mean, what if we have to be prepared for any scenario? What if we come down and then we ultimately just slowly bleed down to the 20-week? Well, if the 20-week continues to move up, maybe we hit the 20-week at around 10.5, you know, I don't know. But if we come down to it immediately, right, it's going to fill that CME gap that people want to fill. I don't really think we need to fill it, but if we do, then great, I guess. But it's currently at 94.17. This is where I would be looking. So just kind of extending this out, maybe seeing it bounce off of that. And if we can bounce off of it, then congratulations. It seems like the bull market is potentially getting underway. So yeah, we're going to go through a lot of the coins, and let me just read some of the comments. One of the things that we and you know, someone, S. Walker, said content like this is slowly eliminating dumb money. I actually do think that, like, there's a reason that markets mature, right? There's a reason that volatility reduces over time. It's because people become aware of what's going on, right? And it's like, you know, we're becoming aware of it, right? I'm showing you what I think's happening from a macro level perspective. We look at a lot of different metrics to try to identify, like, local tops, local bottoms, or say macro level tops and macro level bottoms. So people kind of wise up to it, right? And because people wise up to it, then people try to front run it more and more each and every time. This reduces macro level volatility, right? And reduces your potential ROI. You can either ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist, or get on board with it now, so you're not the person waiting for a $500,000 Bitcoin in 2021 when it doesn't happen, and then you capitulate when, you know, you see Bitcoin drop by 30% or something. So it's basically about, you know, communicating the information to you guys so that you can take advantage of it, right? So that when the time comes, when you know when when there will come a time, right, where, you know, your resolve will be tested, and it's going to be tested several times during the market cycle. It's not just going to be like a all dandelions and roses. We just move up monotonically until we get to 100K. We're going to see 30% corrections. We're going to see potentially 40% wick corrections, right? This is something we're going to see even in a bull market. So the point, right, is to say, okay, well, Bitcoin is at 11.4. For it to drop, worst case scenario for the bull market, right? For the bull market, worst case scenario would be it immediately dropping from the current price down to the 20-week, which is approximately an 18% drop. And this is par for the course. So if you're overexposed right now and you have too much exposure to the market, that an 18% drop would destroy kind of like what you have, then you need to reconsider, right, your exposure to the market. Now, certainly the 20-week is not the worst case scenario possible. I mean, we know that it's possible that we drop down to the 200-week or maybe even the 300-week. We saw that the 200-week, of course, is what typically holds as support, right? Even during a bear market. So you must always be ready for the 200-week, right? We say you don't necessarily seek it out, right? Because you don't want to. And what I mean by that is you don't want, like, not financial advice. Let me speak from like a personal frame. Like, I don't want all my money on the sidelines waiting for the 200-week because the 200-week may never happen. But I always have money set aside, right, in the event that the 200-week does come and we hit it. And so the 200-week moving average currently is around 6,500. So this would be kind of like if you have capital on the sidelines. I know a lot of people would be moving in if we were to go down that low. But we're still so far away from that scenario. I don't really want to spend too much time talking about it, right? I mean, that's pretty far off. I think there's still a reasonable chance that we don't even test the 20-week anytime soon. And even if we do, there's a reasonable chance that we hold it as support, right? There's a chance that we hold the 20-week moving average as support. And that's ultimately what we want to do, right? We want to hold it as support and then build off of that. So the question is how high are we going to go before the 20-week is held as support, before we kind of correct? And I showed you guys a video the other day where I put on the 20-week, the price divided by the 20-week, right? So let's just overlay it. So if you look at the price divided by the 20-week moving average, and let's look at the last cycle, it kind of gives you an idea, right, of where local tops might be. So if we draw a line at 1, we know that at 1 it means that the bull market is holding as support, right? Let me actually increase this so I can get it right at 1. So this means the bull market is holding as support if we're above it, okay? So last cycle, right? You see the 20-week there, and you see us essentially just holding this as support for the duration of the bull market. But that's not the purpose, right? The purpose is to look to see, okay, how high above the 20-week did we go? And you can see it ranged, right? But I mean, there was a lot in this range here. And it kind of peaked up at this point, right? So you can kind of look at these peaks ranging from, a 1.2x multiple up to a 2x. With the maximum, when it went to 3x, basically 3x, the party was over. So the one in 2019 went up into this region. You can see we just flirted with it right there. So what I would imagine, right, is even if this is the bull market, we're going to come down and test the 20-week many times, and we might see peaks that increase. But we know that we're going to see diminishing returns. So maybe it won't get quite above the 20-week as frequently as it did last cycle. One of the things we said, right, is you can't really draw a line that effectively to try to predict where a local top might be because of it. I mean, basically in 1 or 2 years, it predicts that we're basically going to stay on the 20-week and never go above it. But maybe we can use the regression line of it, or the log of it, the log of the price divided by the 20-week. And if we draw that line, it does seem to line up. Again, it's just if you just look at those three. Actually, let me switch over to the BLX because it has, actually it's right here. So add the indicator. We're going to add on the log of the 20-week, the price of over the 20-week. Let's look out on a weekly time frame, and then we're going to zoom all the way out. So that's what we see, right? And you can connect these. Not that it means anything, but you can connect these and see that, you know, if that trend were to continue, then maybe the max we're looking at getting over. I mean, this is 0.63, so but it'd be the log of something equals 0.63. So you'd have to solve for that. But we're going to look at this. Obviously, I mean, we're going to see these. We're going to see local tops. We're going to see the price probably get 2 times above the 20-week at some point, right? So if the 20-week is one day up at 20K, maybe the price will be at 40K. So it's going to happen. It's just like another indicator you can use to try to get a gauge on what the risk level is in the market. Because, you know, the last time it was getting to those levels, we know that there was inevitably a correction due. So I just wanted to pull that up really quickly, and then let me overlay the regression band again so you guys can just see it. So here we are. Here's the regression band for Bitcoin, the logarithmic regression band for Bitcoin. We're still in it, obviously. Let me put the 200-week on here too, or sorry, the 200-week. So here we are. So I mean, as far as the regression band is concerned, right? I mean, this is business as usual, just a potential reaccumulation phase. Nothing more than that, really. If we could get some likes on the video, I think I only have 39. So let's get some more likes on it. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you guys like the content. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. So what we're looking at, right, is we're still theoretically in a long-term accumulation phase, and it hasn't really changed. And if we add it to the BLX, right, which goes back, you know, almost the entire history of Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and add that on here. You know, you can see, right, that even in the last cycle, we stayed within the regression band for a long period of time. I mean, we were in this band for, let's take a measured move here. We were basically in it for 819 days. So don't discount the fact that there's a chance, or don't discount, I don't want to say fact, but don't discount the possibility, right, that we just slowly move up, right, and in accordance with the regression band. This is a possibility, and as I've shown before, if that does happen, right, and if it repeats the last cycle, then you know you extend out the top. You see that we broke the prior all-time high within the regression band. So if we do the same thing again, it's going to take us right until like the end of 2021, early 2022 to break a sustainable 20K. So don't discount the fact that we might just kind of oscillate in this channel and slowly work our way up to 20K. Obviously, we would hope to see a speculative bubble in the meantime, right? But we don't always get what we want, right? We don't always get what we want. So if it doesn't happen, just be prepared that it could just be a slow grind to 20K. And we've noted before, right, that the move to the prior all-time high typically goes slower than the parabolic move from the prior all-time high to the blow-off top, like it did last cycle. And then you do the same thing again, right? Maybe something like that, where it goes out to, you know, the beginning of 2022, maybe into 2021. And then from there, we go parabolic, you know, out and say, you know, to 2023 or something, and peak at around 100K, something like that, right? This is what we're looking for. At least what I'm looking for. Some of you guys, I know, could basically just think that Bitcoin's going to 250K in 12 months. I think you will be sorely disappointed, to be completely honest, but that is my opinion. Let me just check out some of the comments here. Someone said, do you anticipate the time to get to the peak to be longer than previous cycles? I mean, that's basically what the entire channel has been built around, right? The evidence of lengthening cycles. The idea that it's going to take longer to get to the next paradigm shift, though. I mean, this is standard, right? I mean, it's it's not hard to see it, right? We've shown these graphs before. It looks like the cycles are lengthening, and what I said before, right, is when we first started talking about this a long time ago, most people were against the idea, right, that it had to be a 4-year cycle. And as I said, I think that the as we get closer and closer, right, people are going to start changing their mind, right, because they're going to have no choice. I mean, they're going to be looking at the price of Bitcoin in 2021 and saying, wait, where's my $100,000 Bitcoin? Therefore, you look, right, for the next available reason, and then it's sitting right in front of you, right, lengthening cycles. So this is just the idea. What else? What other? Do we have any questions here? I know you guys want your $100,000 Bitcoin now, but it's just not happening. Chester says, will there ever be an end to speculative bubbles for Bitcoin? I do think that it will slowly, the bubbles will become less intense, right? And we've shown this before, right? The moves from each bottom to each peak are decreasing. And if we go to the BLX, we can show that. So let's show that. So let's go from, say, and we're just gonna, we're gonna eyeball it here. We're not even gonna go all the way down here. Let's just take it from approximately this region up to the first top, right? So a modest 51,000% move up. The second one from this bottom here to the top. I'm gonna have to fix this. So let me scroll this up. So if we go from, say, this bottom right here up to the next top, well, the first top was around a 7,000% move up. This one maybe around a 45,000% move up, a modest, and then again here, bottom to top was a modest 12,000% move. So again, I would expect this one to potentially take us up to 100K in this region, and maybe be like a 4,000%, maybe 3,000% move up. Maybe it'll take us closer to 200K, maybe a 5,000% move up, something like that. So I do think the bubbles are slowly, diminishing, of course. Yeah, the cycles are definitely not shortening. And we've shown this before, right? I mean, and it doesn't matter whether you measure it from bottom to bottom, peak to peak. If you measure it from, say, bottom to bottom, if you go from, like, say, this region here to the first one, that's 476 days. The next bottom to bottom, 1,155 days. The next bottom to bottom, 1,428 days. I mean, whether you measure it from bottom to bottom, whether you go from, say, peak to peak, this one was 889 days. This one was 1,470 days. So if you just kind of speculate that the next peak to peak, well, it has to be longer than 1,484 days, right? Let's take it out to, say, 2023, which is where I think it'll be approximately. Maybe 2,000 days. I mean, you see it right there, right? I mean, so you would have peak to peak of 900 days, and 1,500 days, and maybe 2,100 days. Or if you measure it from bottom to bottom, so the first one being 400 days, then 1,100 days, and 1,400 days. So if you go from this bottom out, we would expect it has to be at least longer than 1,428 days to go from bottom to bottom. So then let's go all the way out here, and then maybe it puts us at a new bottom in, say, 2024, maybe even 2025, right? Somewhere way out here, and the price, right, will probably be maybe around 40 or 50K. This is my speculation. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Steve Beber, this is your first and last warning. If you want to act like a child, there's plenty of other YouTube channels you can do that at. This is not one of them. All right, so that basically is the idea behind at least what I see happening for Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's at 11.4, right? The idea is, what if we're just in a reaccumulation phase, right? Of course, we might go down to the 20-week at some point, but what if we are in a reaccumulation phase? Sorry about the banner update. I have not gone through all the banners yet to choose one. George says, what about measuring how long it took the bubbles to form after each halving? I actually have like a couple videos on that, so check it out. All right, you guys want to... One of the things I wanted to touch base on again, right, is one of the reasons why Bitcoin might be falling as much as it is, could also be the fact that the dollar has been gaining value, right? This is the US dollar currency index. So it essentially just measures the strength of the dollar. And you can see it's been going up the last few days. And if you take a measured move from the bottom to where it currently is, it's gone up about 1%. I mean, this is big for currency in such a short period of time. If you look at USD versus the euro, you also, obviously this is a measure of what we just looked at, but if we just measure it against that one, from the bottom wick anyways to the top, it's about a 1.4% move over just like 3 days. So this is the idea. Yeah, so this is the idea, right? I mean, we're going to be watching. As long as we hold the 20-week, I think the bull market's still on, right? I mean, as long as we hold that, the bull market's still on, and if it drops below it, then it just gives us an accumulation, better accumulation range, right? I mean, I think that ultimately speaking, the end goal is the same. It's just a matter of how we get there, right? If we look at the BLX, let me delete some of this nonsense that I've drawn on here. So if the end game, right, is somewhere over here, right, then it doesn't really matter if the way we get there is we go down first and then go up, right, or do something like that, or if we go into a bubble mode, then come back down, then go back up into another bubble, then come back down. Ultimately speaking, the path doesn't matter so much. It's just how you respond to it, right? This is the general thinking. Let's kind of go down the list here because I obviously have a lot of these pulled up. So let's start with Link. I know a lot of you guys hold Link. So yeah, I mean, this is Link. I warned people, right, in the last video, this is getting kind of crazy. Or we did a live stream, right, on it, and I said I expected it to continue to go down. If you follow the premium channel, right, we talked about this, right? We talked about how this is a bubble forming, and we're likely going to retrace. And for those who have followed it, congratulations. You were able to sell a lot of it, right? I mean, a lot of people, it hit one of the main risk levels I was looking at right around $18, $18.50 or so. So right here. So the idea, right, is that we don't know where the top is. We just look at the risk levels, which we follow. You can follow it on the premium list, right? So, unfortunately, I didn't hit the top at $20. Admittedly, I didn't hit it, but I did sell, 4/15 of my Link position at around $18.50. So, if you wanna follow the risk strategy, remember to check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. And I'll remind you. I'll put it in the chat in case you are new. But we have a lot of people that followed it, and because they followed it, they were able to systematically, take profits, right? And then it gives you the opportunity to DCA back into the market, right? If it corrects, and continue selling if it goes up, right? It's just business as usual. So for those people, congratulations for your profits. Hopefully you can reinvest it either into Link or something else, and you just continue on your merry way. But remember, even with Link, don't discount it, right? I mean, we've seen Link rebound quickly before. I mean, I think that the path of least resistance right now for Link is down, right? That's my opinion. I think the path of least resistance is down. But, Link has shown us before that it can quickly recover. So, I wouldn't be surprised if in a few weeks it's back up to $20. Like, I wouldn't really be surprised if that happened. for me, I basically just stick to the risk levels. So the idea, right, is you sell systematically on the way up at various points, and just admitting we don't know where the top is. So this is the idea. All right. As far as a lot of people are talking about decentralized finance. I just want you guys to be aware that, like, if there's a lot of like really big promises, like, just be aware that there's going to be unstated risks associated with that. And if you're seeing like interest rates that are much higher than what you would get in traditional finance, like, they're probably going to be short-lived, right? And they're not going to last forever. So just be careful, because in hindsight, people will look back and realize how ridiculous some of the stuff is that people kind of fell for. Just like we look back at 2017 and realize how ridiculous some of the people, how ridiculous some of the stuff that people fell for are. I think DeFi is a great thing, right? I think there's a lot of good things there, and I think it will help catalyze the bull market. I think it already has. But there's so many of them popping up, right? You just need to be careful about what people are promising, and realize that there's risks that are not always communicated effectively to you. Someone said, have you thought about doing a cheaper subscription? Unfortunately not. I mean, it used to be cheaper a long time ago, but I mean, it's basically rewarding the people who got in early. That reminds me, the prices will actually be going up sometime this month or next month. So if you want to get grandfathered in at the lower price, then make sure you sign up, because they will be going up. And one of the common questions that I get, right, about the premium content is like, okay, well, I produce so much public content, like, what's the point? I can guarantee you the premium content is better than the public content. Like, I put a lot more effort into that, if you can believe it. And then I will be doing less public content as we go on. So if you want to get grandfathered in at the lower price, make sure you sign up now. And you can pay with crypto to get a discount. Let's look at some of the, so Link is dropping, right? 1388. I will be, at some point, right, the idea, and it goes both ways, right? When we're going up, when Link is going up, what was I doing? I was DCAing my sells, as I communicated to you guys many, many times, and especially the premium list, right? But what happens when it goes down, right? What happens now? Like, well, what do? Do we just say, oh, the party's over, like, let's wrap it up? Or do we say, wait a second, like, where's the opportunity, right? There's an opportunity somewhere. If Link continues coming down, I guarantee you that the people who bought up here are going to be feeling the pressure, right? They're going to be feeling the pressure. These people, and I said this, right, in a premium video the other day, these people are going to feel trapped, right? You're going to get trapped into this, like, what you thought was like a new paradigm shift in the price of Link. You get trapped there because you FOMO in at $20 or $19 when the last time you really should be FOMOing in. And then you see the price come down. It comes down to, $15. You say, okay, I'll just wait. It goes back up to $17.50. And then you just say, okay, well, it's back to where I almost bought in. Let me just wait a little bit longer. But then it keeps coming back down. And then it continues to get like more and more uncomfortable, right? And maybe some of the people that are watching, let me see something. And maybe some of the, maybe when it comes back down, these people that bought in, like, say, at the top, right, are the ones that are feeling the pressure, and it's coming back down, So eventually they sell, right, and they capitulate, and it can lead to like a tidal wave of capitulation. If this happens, right, we're going to get to a point where it turns around, probably, like, right? The smart money is going to get back in, the risk level goes down. So in the same way that we were looking to sell, or at least I shouldn't say we, in the same way that I was looking to sell in this region, right? And I was DCAing the sells on the way up, at some point, and I'm not going to say it on here, right? But at some point, you might look to DCA the buys, right? To where you start re-entering the market, right? You took your profits, you're reallocating them to Link if it comes back down here, and if it doesn't, right? If it continues to go up, then what I would do is I would just keep selling. This is what I would do. I recognize that not everyone likes that strategy. Some people are more of like a buy and hold type approach forever, but the people that did take the buy and hold approach, right, in 2017, you realize how hard it can be, because if your approach is just buy and hold, like, when do you sell, right? I mean, do you recognize that that's the top, or do you think it was going to go higher? Like, how do you identify what the top is? So this is just something to consider. So, I mean, the moral of the story, right, is just try to be on the right side of the dumb money, smart money equation, right? You're either on this side up here that's FOMOing in at like a new paradigm shift, right, where it's going parabolic, or you're the person that's buying it when the market is fearful and people are kind of running scared and selling off their Link. So it's kind of like a double whammy for the people that were the dumb money, right? Because let me delete some of this stuff, right? So the dumb money, right, it comes in up at this region. And by the way, in the premium video, I really did talk about this as being a potential top. And, they end up selling, right? So the smart money sells to the dumb money up here, and then the dumb money sells back to the smart money as it comes back down, right? So I don't know how low it's going to go. I mean, for all I know, $13 is the low. But it just kind of repeats itself, right? It repeats itself. So smart money will be smart money, dumb money will be dumb money. Just let the exchange of wealth continue as it always has been for centuries, right? You're either on the right side of the equation or the wrong side of the equation. You're either the person accumulating when it's the right time to accumulate, like and with Bitcoin, you can see those accumulation ranges, right? Like say in this region, right? In our bear markets, slow buildups. Or you're the dumb money coming in at the peaks, right? You're the dumb money that just waits for it to be all over the news, and then you end up holding for 5 years. I'm just checking out some of the questions. I like to look at the questions just because, like, on live streams, like, questions or the chat is a good way to identify trolls. I like banning them. So if you are a troll, feel free to go ahead and put your comment in so I can identify you. All right, let's continue on. ADA has dropped down to 12 cents. So, again, this isn't really that surprising, right? I mean, I said I was going to stop buying it at 10 cents. If it drops down low enough, I'll reaccumulate. If not, then I won't. I did sell some, as many of you guys know. Here's the ADA Ethereum chart. So, I'm still holding off on reaccumulating ADA. What I would like to see is for the ADA Ethereum ratio to come back into this region. This would be kind of like the Goldilocks zone, right, of ADA ETH. ADA Bitcoin is still bleeding, of course. I haven't even looked at it in a while, but it is still bleeding against Bitcoin. So ADA is still bleeding against Bitcoin. So we'll see how low it goes, but and then Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum's at 384. But one of the things we did say, right, I mean, if Bitcoin's bleeding, then Ethereum's going to bleed harder, and you can look at the ratio and see that that's happening, right? We saw a pretty steep drop, and we're now back down to 0.0335 from a high of 0.0375. So it's dropped by a decent amount. If we take a measured move, so it's dropped by about 10% or so. And you can see this, right? I mean, if you just pull up, like, CoinMarketCap or something, you can look at the top 10 and see that Bitcoin is the one that's holding up the best, right? And that's why it's so important to, in my opinion, to own Bitcoin, because it can help Yeah, it doesn't tend to go up as much as some of the other coins during a bull market, but man, when it bleeds, those other coins usually bleed a lot harder. Can we get some more likes? Let's try to get up to 200. We only have like 133 likes. Also, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I mean, like we said, right? I mean, let's go back to the daily chart. Maybe this is just another reaccumulation phase, right? Another accumulation phase that might last us for a few months. It's possible, right? We extend it out. You know, maybe we're just going to be range bound, right, in this region for a while. I don't think we're going to go. You know, I don't think that we're going to go to a sustainable 20K anytime soon. So, I mean, if we're not going to sustainable 20K sometime soon, then that means we have to spend some time somewhere, right? That's not 20K. That's lower than 20K. Oh, links back above 14. Five Eyes says, what's a good portfolio allocation with respect to Bitcoin? I have a lot of videos on it on modern portfolio theory, so go look at. I think I have a playlist, so go check it out. It'll talk to you about like portfolio weightings and whatnot. Someone says, what is the lowest market cap coin you would hold? Do you see more downside risk below a certain point? I do hold some micro caps. It's just that I focus, you know, the channel focuses on the large cap coins, right? The large caps, some medium caps, right? We've been following Link for a while, even when it wasn't in the top 10, right? But, you know, I don't want to talk about micro caps on the channel because if I do, then I think it just comes off in a weird way, right? I mean, like, then the impression could be that, like, you know, I'm just trying to pump it for some, you know, for whatever reason. So I don't want to come off as that type of personality. You know, I don't want to like pump my bags, so to speak. You know, I feel like it kind of reduces, you know, credibility if a YouTuber is just kind of bouncing from whatever the flavor of the day is, right? You know, like a coin. You go buy a coin and then you pump it on your YouTube channel and then you sell it, right? This is not what I want to do. And I think maintaining credibility is much more important than just pumping whatever the flavor of the day is. So this is why I'm not going to really talk about these micro caps on the channel. But of course, there are some that I am involved in. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. No, I don't think the bull run is done. I mean, you know, this is business as usual, right? I mean, like we even talked about this. We said this what we've seen today is nothing, right? If you zoom in, as we showed earlier in the stream and many times before, right? If you zoom in here and you look at the 20-week, we know that we're going to see probably 30 to 40% crashes to the 20-week at various points during the market cycle, even if we are in a bull market. And we're still like 18% away, approximately 20% away from the 20-week moving average. Like, the bull market is still, I mean, I don't want to say it's confirmed, right? I feel like we need to hold the 20-week moving average as support, but I mean, this can quickly turn around, right? I mean, it could come back down and then just go back up. Like, I mean, this is a certain possibility. Things don't just go monotonically up, right? It's a market. People buy, people sell. Sometimes inflows are greater than outflows. Sometimes outflows are greater than inflows, right? It just depends on, on kind of like the sentiment in the market. I see a lot of people talking about micro caps. By the way, we do have a micro cap Telegram channel. So if you're dying to talk about micro caps, then check out this Telegram channel that I'm putting in the comments. If you want to join the main Telegram channel, right, the one that we talk about, like the larger coins, then check out the other link. But yeah, if you want to talk about micro caps, you can do that in the appropriate channel. Let's look at the link Bitcoin ratio. So here's the link Bitcoin ratio. So yeah, it's currently fallen down to 122,000 sats. I mean, I really did think this was, not the most sustainable move, right? And we've seen it before with Link, right? We've seen this general trend, right, of it going kind of to the top of that range and then coming back down. This one admittedly went higher than most, but I think, I guess it always depends on where you exactly draw this. Wherever you draw, I don't think we need to draw way up there, but you get the idea, right? I mean, it was definitely in a bubble. We'll see if it maybe it continues to move up. I don't know, but certainly there's not a doubt in my mind that it was at least in some bubble territory, right? And we would see a correction. We even spoke about this, right? We compared the Link USD move, right? We compared the Link USD move to what Ethereum saw, because if you take a measured move from, say, the bottom to the peak, it was a 1,300% move up. And then if you go back to Ethereum back in 2016 at a similar phase in that cycle, let's go back to 2016, right? This was, whoops. So from this bottom to the top, it was around a 2,500% move. And then, it doesn't look that bad on here, right? But we did see a 50% retracement. So this is the thing with Link, right? I mean, it might retrace by 50%. I mean, it's possible, and if it did, it would take it back down, to approximately to $10, right? $9, $10, $11, somewhere in that time frame. I think Ethereum decreased by a little bit more than 50%. So if Link did that, it might take it down to $9 or so. But I mean, this is of course on the cards, right? We know that this is a possibility. Someone said your suggestion for the ones who got Link at the top. Well, I mean, my first suggestion is learn your lesson, right? Learn your lesson so you don't repeat the same mistake again. It's possible that Link bails you out, right? It's possible that Link bails you out in the short term and it continues on up, right? This is a possibility, and I don't want to discount this possibility. But the thing is if we do come back down, this is certainly a possibility. So I would just say learn your lesson and move on. Like, if you're new to crypto, then treat it as like a lesson, right? Treat it as a lesson. Say, okay, I don't want to buy something when it's going parabolic. I want to get in before it goes parabolic, because chasing a pump is likely not going to work out. Yes, it might work out occasionally, right? You get lucky, you see a coin moving, so you put in money and then you cash out 2x. But there's going to be so many times where you chase a pump and then it just crashes basically right after you buy in, or you see it go up but you don't cash out and then it crashes anyways. Root keeps talking about Link. Hey man, I've seen you spam the chat saying Link's going to $1. I think everyone sees it, right? I mean, we get your opinion. If you say it again, I'm just gonna go ahead and hide you from the channel. There's nothing wrong with thinking that it's going to $1, but spamming the chat is not something that is okay. Please subscribe to the channel again and give the video a thumbs up if you guys like the content. We're almost at 200 likes. I think it'd be kind of great if Bitcoin just rebounded right back to 12K tomorrow. Someone said, do you think ADA has a chance to overtake ETH? Not realistically, no. I mean, yeah, there's always a chance, but I mean, if it did, I don't think it would be this market cycle by any means. Let me know what other questions you guys have. Here's the Ethereum regression band if you guys wanted to see it. So you can see we're still out of it right now. Yeah, someone says it'll be nice to fill the gap. I really don't know that we need to fill it. I mean, I know a lot of people think that it has to fill, but I don't think it's a necessity. But, you know, if it did drop to 60 or 9,600, which is where the gap is approximately, then this would actually correspond right to the 20 week, right? I mean, the 20 week's currently at 94.24. So if you do see a dump down to fill that gap, it might correspond to the 20 week getting to that point too. It's a possibility for sure. The nerd Robert says Cardano is a pure scam. You know, I don't really. I think it's kind of ridiculous that people just throw that word around all the time. Like, to be completely honest, but like I feel like there's a huge difference between like a project that has been like built out over many years and someone creating an ERC20 and pumping it on Uniswap for a couple days, right? There's a huge difference between those two, and I don't think that it's fair to say something like that. Someone, yeah, Chester's right. He's like, if you're going to call something, if you're going to call something a scam, at least have the evidence to support your assertions. This is the thing with crypto, right? There's so many people in crypto that just like to say that kind of stuff, right? To just say random stuff, like one-off stuff that doesn't make any sense, and then never actually provide any evidence for it. Someone says Ethereum price prediction if Bitcoin hits 9.6 to 10.5. Well, I mean, practically speaking, right? If we take a measured move from Bitcoin and say that, let's say from the current price, let's say it drops down to 9,600. You know, that's a 17% drop. I would expect Ethereum to drop harder. So first, let's start, if it does go to that region, you know, what was it again? 17%. So if Ethereum were to drop 17%, which would be what Bitcoin would have to do to get to 96 at this point, it would put it at 320 or so. So my guess is if Bitcoin went down to that level, Ether would probably drop a little bit harder, maybe all the way down to 300 or so. What other questions? I'm not going to answer questions about micro caps, guys. I'm just not. So you can stop wasting your your comments on asking me about micro caps. Someone says, how do you maximize returns when looking at new coins with a Sharpe ratio? It's really hard to do that if they're new coins because they just don't have a lot of data. Yeah, Tesla. I mean, yeah, it's certainly going up right now, right? It's over 2K. I think it's probably pumping, right? Because they announced the stock split, like 5-1. So, you know, I don't really know where it's going to end up, but in my opinion, Tesla is very overvalued right now. Like, I do think it's fairly overvalued, and I think it's more overvalued than it ever has been right now, even compared to its last bull run, like, you know, or earlier in this decade or earlier last decade. Someone said you offer 1 month trials. I mean, you can sign up for a month. Yeah, can we get some more likes? Also, please subscribe. Let's try to get to 40K, 40K subscribers. You know, one of the things that I noticed too, right, is, you know, if you guys want more people to see like the better side of crypto and not just the fast talk, like telling everyone that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million next year, or shilling like, you know, altcoins constantly, then like subscribe to this channel so that we can actually show the world like there's more to crypto YouTube than just like fast talk, shilling YouTubers, right? What would a balanced precious metal and crypto portfolio look like? I mean, I personally own more crypto than I do precious metals. I'm not going to go into the exact percentages, right? But I do own some precious metals. In fact, the three primary ones that I own are gold, silver, and I've talked about it before. I'm curious, can anyone guess what the third precious metal is? So gold and silver for sure. But what's the third one? Let me see if you guys can get it. TP Productions says dead air, don't ask for likes, earn them. I feel like I have earned them, so I'll just go ahead and hide you from the channel. Alright, I'm looking at the metals now. I see uranium, platinum, zirconium, copper. Cobalt. Actually, maybe I should. I actually do own some cobalt. My ring is cobalt, actually. Yeah. So the other one that I own besides gold and silver, as many of you guys guessed correctly, it's palladium. And if you're curious why I own palladium, why don't we just pull up a chart of it? So this is palladium. This is the palladium chart. So, again, what I like to, the goal, right, is to identify trends that you want to be a part of, right? This is the idea. And I identified a long time ago that the palladium trend, right, the price trend, was one I wanted to be a part of. And of course, it has these, blow off tops, and then it retraces, right? You can see here in 2019, it went to 1600, then came back down to 1300, came up to 2800, then back all the way down to 1400, 1500, now back up to 2200. It's pretty volatile. So, just consider that. I mean, it's just one of the ones I own. Turkey Duster says Ben owns vaporware. Gonna go ahead and remove you now from the channel. The nice thing about removing people is that I never see their comments again. No, I already told you guys it's palladium. So we're looking, here's the palladium chart, right? Here's the palladium chart. This is the other one that I own besides gold and silver. Yeah, we've spoken some, right, about silver gold, like the gold silver ratio. And I've said before, right, that I think that back when we were over here, I think that gold is or silver is gonna continue gaining on gold, right? Let's switch over to the weekly time frame. So right, I mean it typically is peaks out here, right, at this level, bottoms over here, but here we had a very undervaluation there, and then here a super overvaluation. And I think what's more than likely is that we're just going to continue to come back down to the bottom over several years. This is what I think. Can you guys see my dog or something? I keep seeing people saying my dog. Oh, yeah, she's over there. I don't know if you guys can see her, but Ginger, come here. There she is. You can see her. Can you guys guess what mix she is? She's a mix between two different breeds. she's a, I don't see anyone who's got it yet. She's a mix between a Chihuahua and a miniature pincher, so that's what she's a mix between. So, again, Bitcoin, let me actually switch back to a live Bitcoin chart. Still at 11.4, right? Business as usual, guys, right? Still in the accumulation phase, which is identified by the logarithmic regression band, or it's one of the ways to identify it, right? Down here, right here, right here, and right here. So, I mean, it's just business as usual, right? Business as usual. I would say, for me personally, it's just continued DCA with Bitcoin. I haven't sold any in a while. I sell it based on the risk metric again. But yeah, I mean, it's just business as usual, right? And I mean, we're probably going to bubble at some point, whether it happens tomorrow or it happens in a year. Whenever it happens, I would just say be ready for it. I don't have a huge opinion on crypto trading bots. I think it's, my personal opinion is I don't really use them. Ethereum's still sitting at 385 with Bitcoin. And one of the things to note too, right, that is if Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin just kind of stays at 11.4 or 11.5 for a week or two, like Ethereum will probably start moving up again, right? As long as Bitcoin doesn't crash down, Ethereum will probably regain that confidence and move past 400 again. If as long as Bitcoin doesn't just keep dropping, right? Juan says, does your premium subscription come with recommended selling points? Yeah, I mean, we have the entire risk metric, right? And we use the risk metric. A lot of us, actually, I did a poll. A lot of people used it. And we sold systematically on the way up. And the highest selling point was where, I mean, I basically told people where I was selling, right? Which was at the 0.85 link USD risk level, which happened to correspond to around 1850 or so. So that was the last sell. I sold 4/15 of my link. So yeah, I mean, it does come with a lot of that stuff. Just as a reminder, if you do join into the cryptoverse.com, you can find access to a lot of different things, right? It's not just premium videos. It's premium videos, premium report, a Telegram alerts channel, a Telegram discussion channel, like a private chat room. So it's higher quality because, right, it's behind a paywall. And then a risk dashboard, which is what I use to do these momentum shift swing trades, and then a strategies dashboard. And again, the prices are going to be going up in the next month or two, or sometime this month or next month. So if you want to get the discounted price and be grandfathered in, make sure you sign up now. And if you pay with crypto, you can pay for 6 or 12 months and get a discount. We also do have it on patreon.com if you'd prefer to do it on Patreon. So, and I get people's hesitation, right, with the premium list, signing up. I mean, I, for one, am very skeptical about signing up for that stuff. I really am trying to provide value. I'm not just some, like, high schooler, talking out of my you-know-what, like, just trying to make money. I mean, I did get a PhD in engineering, so I think it is valuable for people. And again, if you have questions, you can always check out the public channel, right? We have a public Telegram channel that I recommend that people check out, and you can ask questions about it there. And again, if you guys have questions, just maybe check out the public chat first and ask there. Yeah, I mean the fees on Ethereum are insane right now, right? It's because the network's getting clogged because everyone's like pumping their ERC20s on Uniswap, and then yeah, I mean it's just a mess, right? It's a complete mess right now. I mean I think they will come back down, right? I do think they'll come back down eventually, right? I mean, but I think it does affect things, right? People, this is what happened in 2017, right? This was when Bitcoin was pumping like crazy, and so was Ethereum, right? And the networks were just completely clogged up, right? And you couldn't send anything. And of course, at that time, there was some people that were saying Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer. Bitcoin's not going to be a peer-to-peer, right? It might be a store of value, but there's no way, in my opinion, that it's really going to be a peer-to-peer, because anytime the network gets clogged, you can't wait like six hours for a transaction to go through that's going to cost you like $20, right? If it gets clogged at that point again, like it is with Ethereum. And then this, right? I mean, this then can lead to the narrative of other coins pumping that don't have these huge congestions of their network, and have like different like perks that they can offer. Like I mean, there's a lot of them, right? I mean, Nano, right? Nano is one of those ones that went up a ton last cycle. XLM, right? It's another one, low fees. Obviously, there's Bitcoin Cash, which I feel like is pretty niche. But there's a lot of these coins, right, that kind of feed off that, right? Because when the fees go through the roof on these other coins, then they kind of come in and say, hey, look at me, like I'm feeless, or the fees are minuscule, right? And you can get it instantly or almost instant. So just be on the lookout for that happening again. Not right now, but I'm not going to say like it would happen right now, because I don't think it's as bad as it's going to get in a few years, but just be on the lookout for that. Alright guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Just as a reminder, check out the premium list if you want to join it. Check out the Telegram group if you have questions or you just want to be part of the community. We have 5,535 people. I will remind you to at least subscribe to the channel, right? So you can be, so you can see the future videos. Maybe click the bell icon to turn on your notifications, and please give the video a thumbs up if you like the show. I think we'll wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Bye.